Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Damn kickers. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, and yesterday that old trade talk kind of shelved one of our main topics, and that is what are the Vikings going to do at the kicker position, if anything?
Yeah, we already did a video about is it time to get rid of Greg Joseph and all the excitement of TJ Hawkinson coming here, all the excitement being 6-1. We forgot one very important nugget about this team. That is our kicker sucks ass.
Okay, that's a little extreme. Before we get into our kicker, let's keep those subs coming. It has been a wonderful couple of days. Keep those subs coming. Hit that sub button. Hit that like. Hit that bell. We're here every damn day talking Vikings. Also, grab yourself a lift bridge.
Say, hit your liquor store. Get yourself some lift bridge.
Get yourself a lift bridge, just like the Vikings might go shopping for a nice, wonderful new kicker. But you know what? Just because we're doing this doesn't mean we want them. We're gonna save that for the end. I want to know, Lupagus, where you stand after we actually see who's available out there. It's easy to say, let's get rid of our kicker. But if you don't have anybody worthy of coming in, we might be stuck.
We might be stuck. I was once stuck under a table. I'm going to tell you what you did to me.
I've seen some videos like that. But let's do this. Also, remember, hashtag 8,000 in the comments. But let's start with the kicker himself, Gregory Joseph. Last in field goal percentages in the NFL. Second from last with extra points. Not great. Not great news at all.
Well, I was hoping the bye week would maybe help him out a little bit, but he comes back and he drops from 69% made his field goals down to 64.3. He left 4 points off the board for Minnesota Vikings, which made this game very, very close. So Greg Joseph, he's struggling right now. You can't sugarcoat it. The dude is struggling. Again, how patient are the Vikings going to be? Are you going to let him work through this, or is he going to have to blow a game for this team before they make a move?
That'll be interesting because we know the previous regime was not – they would switch kickers fairly easily and fairly often. So I don't wonder if that's a little bit in their brain where they don't want to go down that road. Maybe he gets a little bit extra longer leash. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching.
I think he's already got a long leash.
He does. He does. And when you're 6-1 and you're a team that wants to compete – for a championship, you need a reliable kicker. So let's peruse what's out there, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. We're going to start with just straight-up free agents. Straight-up guys you could go grab right now. There you go. That's pretty much what we got here.
Yeah. Eldrick Rosas. He's still out there, huh? That's the most attractive option there. I mean, there were some stretches where he was pretty hot. The only name I recognize here is Matt Amendola, who I think recently kicked for the Cardinals. I do believe he blew a game for them, missing, was it extra points or field goals? But here's the thing with kickers. They're a very fickle bunch. It's a very mental aspect of the game. So sometimes all they need is a change of scenery, and it can kind of stir something loose in them, just like in Kingpin when he stirred something loose in his landlord.
Well, I'm going to burst your bubble on that one because every one of these guys, aside from the college kicker who's never kicked, has been on many, 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 many teams. These guys are guys, I mean, they've been all over the place, and they've bounced around for practice squad, and they cannot catch on. And that's my issue with this list is if you look at how many teams some of these guys played for, something's not right.
But the fact is they have played for a lot of teams. We're not looking for a permanent replacement here. If we do get rid of Greg Joseph, we're looking for a guy who can get us through the rest of the season, make your extra points, maybe hit some 40-yard field goals. The future kicker of this team is not going to be found right now. This is just a guy to come in and get the job finished for this year.
One name, Ryan Santoso, former Gopher. He's bounced around quite a bit. He's been on like almost all the Canadian football teams. Elliott Fry, a handful of teams. Like you said, Aldrich. He's definitely got the most – almost the most, well, he does have the most experience here. He's a former Pro Bowler. I guess out of everybody here, that would be the name that I guess I would want them to bring in.
I'm actually surprised he's available. I mean, to me, that's the most attractive option by far right now. And again, just looking for a good stretch, good 10-game stretch.
I was going to see the last team he kicked for, but it really doesn't matter.
Giants.
He was last with the Lions. That's it. Released on September 20th. So very recently. So Those are the free agents that are just hanging out on the streets. We also know that we can go grab a practice squatter, bing, just as easily. So let's look at the practice squad guys that are available. And here's my bread and butter.
Yeah,
I like these.
I mean, they're better. They are better. Look at those. Matt Wright, the 28 out of 30 extra points. I like that. Taylor Bertolet, I forgot he was a former Viking in 2020, but he's perfect. He's perfect so far.
Yeah, he is. He is perfect. Which let's start at the top. Sam Ficken. You can see his numbers very good. Matthew Wright. Everybody here has damn good numbers. Matthew Wright is the one though that I love. He had a 59-yarder for the Chiefs. It was like a week or two ago. 28 of 32. A very, very good kicker. You know what? If the Chiefs have him on their team, it means he's good.
And those guys are on practice squad, so they can be signed right now if we want to the active roster.
Yeah. And Bertolet, the issue there is, you know what? He's just never missed a kick. What if he misses a kick and his mind is completely messed up? We need a guy who has a little grit, a guy that's missed some kicks before.
Grit in his tits. That's what we want.
So, I mean, we're going to talk about one more guy, but that's really – there's a ton of free agent kickers out there. There's a ton of guys from college that never get drafted. Gabe Burkich we got to talk about. Gabe Burkich, the former Viking.
You still have his picture handy?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember hearing much about him. I don't even think he made it to camp. He was here for the first mini camp OTAs. I think he was released after that. Guy's got a leg on him, but I mean, at least he's familiar with the team. I'm sure Ryan Wright held for him a couple of times in practice, so there's some familiarity there. But I mean, if you're really desperate, maybe they'll go the Gabe Burkich route.
When we released him, he actually signed with the Packers. Packers ended up cutting him, and he just put out a video on Twitter a couple days ago. Maybe he's trying to get those Vikings say, "Hey, look, man!" And he was just nailing these kicks.
Nice,
it was wonderful.
Hell yeah!
But let's talk about the final one, and he's actually on an active roster, and that's Rodrigo Blankenship. He's with the Cardinals right now. We just saw him last week.
He is. Matt Prater's getting healthy. They used Rodrigo 2 weeks ago to kick against the Saints. Against the Vikings, he was kicking off. Matt Prater kicked the field goal. So, I mean, really, how long is this team going to keep two kickers on the active roster? Not many teams do that. So, if I'm the Vikings, as soon as he gets designated back to the practice squad, whether it's Prater or Blankenship, I'm assuming it's going to be Blankenship. I'm hopping all over that shit. Rodrigo in Minnesota. Hell yes.
Rodrigo. The other thing that you just alluded to is they might end up keeping Rodrigo. Matt Prater, I mean, Prater's no young buck, and they might get rid of him, and I'll take Prater in a second.
Yeah, Prater don't miss against the Vikings. Prater can make it from 60. Prater talks to himself in the third person. He says, Prater, then take a piss. Get on my way. This guy is a guy I want to go have a beer with at the local Legion.
Too soon. He's very good. Very good against the Vikings. So it's a perfect match. But that's pretty much what we got. If you got a guy that we're not talking about, put him in the comments. We'd love to see some more names.
Well, and then you talked about at the end here. So what's gonna happen here? Are the Vikings gonna make a move? What is it gonna take for them to actually go this route and bring in somebody to replace Greg Joseph, who I'm sure Kevin O'Connell is still gonna support publicly very, very hard.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna have to have a couple disastrous games. I think it's gonna be a couple horrible games before they actually move on from him. I don't think they want anything to do with moving on from a kicker midseason. I think they've seen him in practice. He clearly is making kicks in practice. If he was a disaster, he'd be gone by now. And right now, if it was up to you, what would you do with these names we just saw?
Well, right now, I would roll with Greg Joseph for at least one more week. If he starts shanking stuff left and right in Washington, which I think might end up being one of these games where, I don't know, I just have a feeling it's going to be kind of a gross game, like a 19-16 kind of a game. So I think a game where you're going to need your kicker coming through. And if he blows it in Washington, somehow costs the Vikings the game, then I think they make the move. I don't think they'll let him blow more in one game.
Yeah, I think I think he's got two bad games left in him, unless it is a kick that loses the game. I'll put that out there. If he misses a game winner, then maybe. But when you look at these names, I mean, Matthew Wright from the Chiefs, that's the only one I'd want.
Yeah, and why not? Again, we don't need him to be the future, just the rest of the year.
Let us know. Comments. You want him to move on? Who do you want? And favorite Viking kicker of all time?
Jeez, so many good ones over the years. All right, remember this. 95% of California avocados sold today are descended from a single tree planted in 1926 by a Milwaukee postman.